A lot of them, like I said, and I'm gonna say this about Billboard. I mean, it's a crazy, list. They made a lot of slip ups here, but I can safely say my top 10 is on this list. It's just not in the order that it should be. Right? So they haven't missed anyone from my top 10. Everyone in my top 10 is on this list somewhere. They just
I sure would hope if they weren't on, if the top 10 wasn't nowhere on their list, that would be insane.
And I would say, if we're talking about if it stays top 50, then personally, I would only really take 2 of these things out. If you're going by their criteria where they're allowing certain groups and everything, big timers would have to go. And I guess we can keep City Girls because, yes, second greatest, but if, in my opinion, DOS Effects and Diggable Planets not being on here, those 2 could take those 2 spots really quickly, and I would have a problem. But big timers should go. The City Girls can stay. Big timers gotta go. That's ridiculous.
You're safe, Young Miami. You're safe, Carisha.
Facts. Shout out, y'all.
Yeah. Okay. So, with that being said, let's run down our top.
JT and Young Man. Sorry.
Yeah, JT and Young Man.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Let's run down our top 10. What we, based on our criteria, where we say, classic albums, timeless hits, impact on the culture, longevity, and lyrics. We gotta put lyrics in there.
Why don't we start at 10 and see who everybody's got at 10, and then see.
Okay, go that way. Okay,
we can do it that way instead of everybody doing a list.
Yeah, that'll work. Good idea. Glad I thought of it. Okay, let's go. So number 10. Let me see. Number 10. Who you got at number 10, Hev?
I got the Migos at number 10.
Migos at number 10.
I got the Migos at 10 because, like I said, they are really the group of this generation. And where I do, even though it's not their fault, you have to put into consideration they ain't really had no competition. So they're going to be the greatest group of this generation if they just came out and put out a couple albums, because there's not really any groups. So I have the Migos at 10. They're kind of like led a generation there, whether it's good, better, and different. The way people are rapping now, that whole mumble rap stuff, they kind of like led it.
Yeah.
I mean, them and Future kind of like led in the mumble rap era. So that's who I have at 10.
Okay. Well, Prime, what you got?
They're actually my 11. They just missed the top 10 for me, but I love them. Mobb Deep, number 10. I mean, for me
too.
Queens had everywhere going. Long Island, shout out Hempstead, shout out Prod. Shook Ones Part 2, classic.
Timeless song.
Timeless album. I mean, Havoc, we were just saying this the other day. Havoc, probably one of the most underrated producers of all time.
Whenever we do that list, we put him on underrated producer. Do you think he's an underrated lyricist? Do you think he gets underrated?
Yeah, most definitely. I think he's an underrated lyricist because he's next to Prodigy on all the songs.
Yeah.
That's what makes it tough for him.
I agree.
Prodigy to me is. People forget Prodigy had Jay-Z damn near on his knees. So trust me. Yeah. Personally, I feel like Mobb Deep is definitely top 10. I like them at 10. I feel like the impact on hip hop as a whole isn't as strong as some of the other guys in the top 10 because they didn't necessarily shift anything in hip hop. But when they came through, their peak was like a stranglehold. You know what I mean? Like they were all over, taking over. So I think number 10 for me, Mobb Deep, easily.
I agree with you there. This is gonna be an easy round because I agree with you there. Not much to add except for the fact that Mobb Deep was so consistent with their albums. Like they put out good music every album. And I have to give one nugget, not to be negative, but they was one of the only cats that stood up during the East Coast, West Coast beef. Yeah. They weren't running with their tail between their legs like everyone else was with Tupac.
Definitely got to get credit for that.
Tupac, they went right at him. with Drop a Gem on them. They did LALA along with Nori and them. Shout out to Nori.
Noriega. Which, if you talk about duos, they should be on here, but go on.
Right, Capone and Noriega, not on the list, by the way.
War Report, crazy.
Yeah, so that's a good nugget. So we'll move on to number 9. But yeah, I my number 10 is Mobb Deep for sure. So number 9, Hev.
My number 9 is Tribe Called Quest. Like, they a little too high on the list for me. It's Billboard. I got Tribe Called Quest at 9 here. I probably had them more back at 9 because they were not as mainstream as some of the other groups that was before them. They weren't able to really break out mainstream as much, and that's why I have them at 9. But definitely in my top 10, definitely a solid group. They have their classic hip hop joint. Do they have a timeless hip hop joint? Bonita Applebum, timeless, maybe.
Maybe, or you might go with
Check the Rhyme. Scenario probably is their classic. That was with Leaders of the New School,
who was not on the list again.
I don't really know. I guess Bonita Applebum is probably there. If you want to call it, I don't want to call that time. I'll call that a classic. I don't like just handing out
tour. I feel like a war tour.
Too.
Like a song that if you hear it at any point, you could just listen to it, kind of thing.
Yeah, but I have.
They had some joints now. Okay, who you got at 9 then? Brian?
Personally, we right on point. I got Tribe at 9. And Tribe actually was higher on my list. They were higher up into the top 10. And as I was making my top 10, I just found myself like, oh damn, I got moving down. I'm moving down. We got to 10. I got to 9. I stopped. So I got them at 9. I gotta agree. Like, they had a again, not as influential as some of the people ahead of them. Definitely production wise, like, they were putting out songs and hits like crazy. Low End Theory is one of those ridiculously great albums.
Yeah, that's a classic album.
So I definitely
think about that.
And Midnight Marauders. Midnight Marauders was another dope album.
Yeah, Midnight Marauders. Yeah. Like, there's no convo about them being a top 10. 9 is good for them though. I feel I feel like they're just missing that. I mean, the argument for the classic song is one thing. I mean, like, they have a classic song, the timeless hit. Like, they're missing that. That's kind of tough. And I just feel like when you put them up, like, the eye test, when you put them up against some of these groups that we're going to be putting in front of them, you're not going to put them at the same level. And maybe that's wrong, but yeah. But shout out Q-Tip though. I love Q-Tip.
Okay.
R.I.P. to my boy, the 5-foot assassin.
5-foot assassin.
Bust to show you where I come from.
I'm going to this is where I'm going to pull. I already pulled Mobb Deep into top 10. This is where I am going to pull the Beastie Boys and put them at my number 9. Putting the Beastie Boys in there because I wanted to bring them into the top 10. I have a little problem. Well, yeah, I could have flip-flopped between them because I think A Tribe Called Quest is in my top 10 as well. They could have been 8 and 9. I have them at 8, but we'll get to 8. But 9, I got the Beastie Boys. I'm pulling them in.
Okay.
Yeah. So number 8.
My 8 is Mobb Deep. I got Mobb Deep at 8.
Okay.
Again, like Brian said, probably because of they gave us the Shook Ones Part 2, which is probably the greatest freestyling record.
Crossover.
It got
you can't spit on that beat. Just give up.
Yeah. It got huge, crossing over to the 8 Mile movie, and just consistency of the albums. And they were like, if you say what is if you look at a dictionary of what a hip hop group would sound like, it's them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I mean, straight New York, especially New York, a New York gritty rap group is Mobb Deep. You know, Queensbridge, that whole movement, Prodigy with the rhymes, and Havoc, like you say, of being an underrated producer. So I got them, and I do give them a brownie point for being one of the ones who stood up to the West Coast, not acting scared.
Yeah.
And I got them 8 on my list.
Because brothers were scared. Brothers were scared. Niggas was scared, but they weren't. Yeah, shout out Mobb Deep once again, and Tupac's most scathing diss of all time, yelling that he's gonna slap Prodigy to death. Crazy.
They was able to survive that with the sickle cell, and nobody really knew about him having sickle cell. Yeah, they didn't really talk about him. Pac brought that out, exposed it.
But you see, they still
lived to tell about it.
A lesser act that could have been a problem. A lesser act that could have been a problem. It could have became a thing where that's the diss. That's what we're gonna diss on him. But Prodigy didn't let it become a problem. So shout out to him. My 8 is Salt and Pepper. I know Billboard had him at 7. I wouldn't be mad at them at 7. I truthfully could put them anywhere from 10 to 4 in my opinion. But love them at 8. Salt and Pepper, ridiculous. I mean, most successful female rap group by far. Not close. The closest, I guess, to the City Girls with the name curves. like Salt and Pepper, ridiculous.
City Girls get a lot of love in this video.
Get a lot of love in this video, man. City Girls.
I think they dope. It's just Billboard. That's who y'all should blame. Any City Girls see this, I ain't the one you got problems with. It's Billboard. They put you in issues. But nah, Salt and Pepper is dope. Shout out Spinderella. They've got some really classic songs. They were the only people doing what they were doing at that time. They're the only people doing what they're doing and they probably, in my opinion, I know Lil' Kim is like the sex lyrics like Queen and people's. In terms of being sexy, but still keeping it in like a you gotta respect me type of way.
That was them.
Untouchable kind of thing. Salt and Pepper, and they bad. So I mean, shoot.
They were bad.
It's bad, all of them. I'm going with A Tribe Called Quest at 8. All right, I got them at 8.
We're all around what we think.
Pretty much around the same. Like I said, we're all around the same. So I got them at 8 for the same reasons. We talked about earlier with them. They had some great impact on the culture. They were a group that was on a level where on some real smooth. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could listen to them and vibe. You didn't listen to A Tribe Called Quest and want to punch somebody in the face. So you didn't listen to A Tribe Called Quest. That's honest. You didn't listen to A Tribe Called Quest. Like, they were a group that was also very mature. They had a mature sound that older people would rock to. Once again, R.I.P. Inez Clark. She liked them. A Tribe Called Quest because they was chill. She was like, now this is what hip hop should be. That's how she thought it. This is what rap should be. Have fun.
Message, just mature. They didn't curse a lot.
Right. Exactly. So
not fighting the beat.
And then exactly. And the music was dope. Ali Shaheed, all of them. The production.
Nice mixture. Very, very good mixture.
Yeah. So that's what. Okay. So number 7. Where you got it? Number 7, huh?
I got Salt and Pepper at 7.
Yeah. Okay.
For pretty much the same things that Prime touched on.
Yep.
I have them at 7. They are, and I like the fact that they never broke up.
Yeah.
They went through a lot of different times where they where it seemed as though like, oh man, maybe they'll break up. And one thing that is different from them that we do see that people try to do with the City Girls is that
City Girls,
they were never ever. They never let anybody play them against each other. Never. It was always salt's better than pepper. Oh, pepper's better than salt. They never let anybody play them against each other where they were like having Salt thinking like, well, maybe I can go solo, or Pepper said maybe I go solo. They never came out with solo projects. They never talked about going solo. So that's why I have them at 7, coupled with all the things that Prime touched on before.
Yeah.
And that's you have to put that in there. You know what I mean? Like, the fact that they didn't break up and that they never had thoughts of going solo is something to say for a group that is so good as a group that like, why would we not be a group? Kind of thing, you know, because sometimes sometimes you put it together better. So.
For 30 something years. I'm gonna go next, Prime, because I agree with him. We're both at 7 with Salt and Pepper, and then we'll get yours. My only thing I'm gonna add, two notes I'm gonna add. One, their impact on hip hop culture with the dressing, where all girls back in those days were dressing like Salt and Pepper.
Dressing like Salt and Pepper.
Yeah, exactly. They were all doing it, you know, with the koofies and the leather jacket joint.
They were very versatile with their look. Yeah, they can go the pro black look. Yeah. Then they go the sexy club look. Yeah. Then they do the beat and everything. Everybody get up. They had the B girl look.
They were the ones that they pulled off.
Their fashion was ahead of the time.
Yeah, they pulled off a lot. You know, they were respected amongst the B girls and stuff like that. But they were fine, and they still made sure that was put in there. You know, they pulled off what the real Roxanne couldn't pull off. But my only reason why they're not higher is that in the beginning they didn't write their rhymes. The first few of their hits. Right. That's the only reason they're not higher than 7 to me. Yeah. But all right, so Prime,
once they got old and started like, let's talk about that. Then they started writing.
They was writing the rhymes at that point. Yeah. So I give them credit for that. They took over and did start writing their rhymes. But when they first came out, the showstopper was kind of like a gimmick. It was going after Dougie Fresh Crew, who is not on this list. But go ahead, Prime.
Right. Crazy.
Go ahead, Prime. You got at 7.
At 7, I got NWA at 7.
Okay.
Might be a little low for some people. Personally, they're only in my top 10 because of impact, and that's it.
Right.
Okay. I won't ever lie and try to pretend I'm an NWA fan. I do like Ice Cube, and obviously, I mean, who doesn't respect Dre? But this is just a bit of an overrated group for me. The impact is definitely strong, but you don't have aside from Cube, because Ren rapped as well, but Ren isn't the strongest rapper out there. You know what I mean? Like, in terms of real lyricism, you're gonna get is gonna be Cube. But even so, with Cube writing your rhyme, you didn't get a lot of lyricists out of them anyway, because all he really rapped about was what he rapped about. So I give them credit for that. They brought gangsta rap to the forefront. They made it a thing. They fought hard for gangsta rap. So I gotta give them credit for that. And gangsta rap is a big part of hip hop now. We wouldn't have rappers like 50 Cent and things like that if we didn't to say the things they said. So that's why I have them at 7. I feel comfortable with them at 7. But if we're talking just musically wise, and they have the classic song, obviously, Straight Outta Compton, but just musically wise, this is the weakest group in the top 10 easily. Easily the weakest group.
I'd try.
Out of any of our top 10s.
Probably.
That's definitely.
But 7, NWA, big up.
7 for you. Okay, cool. So we're all around the same thing. So 6, who you got at 6, Have? I got NWA at 6.
Yeah, I'm right on it with Prime. I got them at 6.
Yeah.
Right. Like, literally, we could have just switched.
Right. But for those lot of reasons he said, they are definitely, to me, they were always a tad bit overrated. You know, me as a rap guy, a person following hip hop for many years, I'm gonna be honest with you, a lot of people try to disagree with me, and especially my good friend Deuce. Shout out to him. I always thought Cube was a little overrated. I'm gonna be honest with you. I always thought Ice Cube was a tad bit overrated. Not a lot.
Overrated, but not a lot.
I thought he was a tad bit overrated, but I have them.
His ranking than NWA is.
Right. I have him at that at there only because of, like I said, the censorship fighting, the fighting for gangster rap, the pretty much, we're gonna say we don't care if you don't want us to say it. Yeah. We're gonna say it, you know what I mean? And they put Compton on the map.
Yeah, very controversial. Not just controversial, but also provocative and stuff like that. Made you think Straight Outta Compton. And then you got to also think about F the Police.
After
That was
police.
just
Especially when you think about what we're
balls.
going through now.
Yeah.
It's like Cube saw the future, where he was telling what was
Right.
happening for real, but he actually kind of also prophesized what was
Did Cube
happening.
see the
now.
future?
They
or
got
did-
authority to kill a minority.
Yeah, right.
Did Cube see the future, or did the government tell him what to say?
Yeah, yeah, right.
Too.
Yeah, I think.
Oh,
actually-
interesting.
Yeah, it's
Interesting.
interesting. But yeah, he really, they did that. They were unique. Coming out, they pretty much opened the floodgates for, if we don't have NWA, we don't have Snoop Dogg. If we don't have NWA, we don't have, people that came after them from the West Coast. We have none of those people if we didn't have NWA. And Dr. Dre is legitimately one of the best producers to touch anything.
Touch Earth.
Yeah, so that alone
In
puts
terms of
them,
producing anything.
yeah, producing anything. That alone puts them where I'm agreed with him that's 6, right? We're putting them at 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys
So who you got at 6 then?
my 6 is Outkast.
Outkast,
at 6.
Yeah.
I think we spoke a lot about Outkast when we were talking about the other list.
Yeah.
All the reasons they shouldn't be 1 and all the reasons why they're 6. They're amazing group. They've got classic songs. I mean, they've got classic albums.
Yeah.
Andre 3000 has probably a top 10 verse in my opinion. That verse on Elevators is one of the craziest verses I've ever heard. But it just 6. I can't see them higher than the 6. The 5 I have in front. My 5, I would say maybe. 5 is more of a preference for me, my 5. Right. But everybody else, my top 4, I don't feel like they can touch. My gut had them a little lower than 6. They were actually closer to 10 than 6 for me at first, but they've sold ridiculous. The only group on this list that's close to what they've sold music-wise is Run DMC and Beastie Boys. So they've sold ridiculous. They had albums to go. They're still technically together. You gotta give credit for that. They're one of the few groups that can split away, go do their own thing, and come right back together. And I think that videos are a big part of hip hop, in my opinion. I think Outkast has always had great videos. They've shown their range. Yeah. Hey Ya is a completely different Outkast than Elevators or Sorry Miss Jackson. I think Staytonia is legendary. They're a crazy group. 6 for me is just they're right outside that top 5 for me. I definitely think that they used to be underrated. Now they're a bit overrated these days. But I do think that 6 is perfect.
Yeah. Okay. Where we going to 5 now?
Yep.
Okay. Number 5.
My 5, like I said, we're right there. My 5 is Outkast. So I have Outkast at 5. Again, I always thought I had to really dig deep into Outkast's catalog to really appreciate. If you would have asked me this a year ago, I probably have them like 10. You know what I mean? Just for the fact of what they've done for the South, and and again, what you said, the sales, sneakily they've sold a lot of records that a lot of people probably don't realize how many records they sold. So I have them. Yeah, I have them at 5. They did crack my top 5. Definitely not 1, but the 4 ahead of them to me, is definitely a 4 that I think made more impact on hip hop as a totality. Like Outkast made a big impact as far as South hip hop goes. Yeah. But it took years for like people in the East Coast and like the Midwest to really appreciate them. So I have them. That's why I have them at right now.
5 is cool.
Yeah, I have them at 5 as well. Outkast. I got Outkast at 5. I got Outkast at 5 as well.
Same reasons.
Pretty much same reasons, yeah. Like I said, their versatility, stuff that you mentioned, their range. Yeah, definitely.
Well, I mean, for my 5, I got Bone, and that's I already knew coming into this was going to be the one thing that kind of threw off our list from
right, because you brought them in, like I brought in Mob.
Yeah, I'm just a heavy fan of Bone. Like I said earlier in the video, only rap group period to have a song with Biggie and Tupac. Both those songs, crazy songs. Three in my opinion, timeless hits, because Crossroads, First of the Month, those are both timeless hits. And I don't know why I'm blanking. I feel like there's a third one that's damn near like on that level. But Crossroads and First of the Month to me are just, those two are classic. About as classic and timeless you can get. They've been together for so long. They put out so much music. They put a whole new sound into hip hop. I mean, look, a Bone Thugs song, the best way I can put it is an experience. You put on a song from Bone Thugs Harmony, you hear the beats, like it's the Thuggish Ruggish Bone. That's the other one I was thinking of that just goes crazy. Like, so different from everything else on this list is why I feel that they're number 5 for me. I feel they made it comfortable to come from places that weren't New York, California, or the South, like the mythical South of everything. Like, they made it cool. So, like, because you repping hard for Cleveland, that's crazy. You know what I mean? Like, and you put Cleveland on the map. You know what I mean? Like, we were just talking about the other day, the Source Awards, where it was East versus West. They was in the middle of that, like, yo, Midwest.
And they kind of opened the way for like Nelly and like, to come on from the Midwest.
Like, Lunatics, like they opened a whole door to a plethora of artists we didn't know that we even had, Twista and things like that. Like, they opened the door for that. So I feel like they're number 5 for me. Sure. They're super influential.
Great point. Okay, so we're down to number 4. What you got, Hev?
I got the Beastie Boys at 4.
Okay.
I mean, the first white, of course, big white hip hop group that had respect, but they had respect in the culture, even though they were clown. They were clowns. They would clown around, whatever. But their beats were always straight hip hop. They were the first huge group, or they were the only white group on Def Jam. One of the first, big groups. The amount of sales, the classic album, License to Ill, Paul Revere is a classic record. And they was able to branch off into rock, and then come back to hip hop. Yeah. And people didn't mind. It was like people didn't care. It was like, because their hip hop was so, even though they made it fun, their hip hop was like so pure, like scratching beats and rhymes, MCing. You know what I mean?
And that little break off kind of opened the door for people like Lil Wayne to step off and do things differently with that rap. Even Kanye stepping off and doing things differently. He, like, opens the door for people like that to do those things. And Beastie Boys was definitely dope.
Yeah, I got them before.
Well, I have at 4. I'm gonna pull in somebody else that we've already skimmed through on that list. I gotta put Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5 at number 4. Just for the fact that we talked about when we went over the list. I'm not gonna add too much to it, but the fact that I also go back to shifts. There was a shift when they were, came on the scene, from the way they were dressing, the things they were doing, and even the message, when you think about the message of the message. So, that type of stuff, people was, and the fact that they have, like we said, could be arguably the greatest hip hop song ever written, is the message.
Definitely, I definitely agree
So
with that.
I'm putting them there for that culture. You know, Flash is one of the original 3 like pioneers of hip hop. Yeah, he's one of the original 3, along with Bambaataa and Kool Herc. You know what I'm saying?
We don't speak of that guy in the middle no more.
Right, but I was just saying he is one. Flash is one
Africa
of
Ben Boy Butt or something.
Yeah, right. Oh God. So he is one of the founding. To me, I call him one of the founding fathers of hip hop. Grandmaster
those
Flash.
Pillars.
Yeah, he's one of them.
Holding up hip hop.
So that's why I'm putting. That's for that reason they're there at number 4. And who was your number 4, Prime?
I would have. I got Beastie Boys.
Beastie Boys at 4.
Hey,
there you go.
I challenge anybody to try to tell me you putting a white people at number 4 on a hip hop list, and I will slap you across the face, bro. Because these dudes, there is no Eminem. There is no Eminem at
no
all.
Third Base, no MC
Serch. But forget there's no Eminem.
Who was not on the list again.
Eminem is the third base, another left off. Eminem is the highest selling hip hop artist of all time. When I tell you, we would never have accepted him if there was never a Beastie Boys. No one would.
Totally.
Obviously, I was young, so I missed the Beastie Boys in real time. But I'm not a fool. They're ridiculous. I mean, being white artists on Def Jam doing rap is crazy enough, but to be to the level that they're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They're again one of the top 5 best selling rap hip hop groups of all time. Classic album, timeless song. Like I said, Fight for Your Right is in every single sporting event ever. I went to a Patriots game in Boston, and everybody, the Miami Dolphins fans, the Patriots fans, everyone was singing that song when it came on. You know what I mean? To me, Beastie Boys at number 4. And shout out to MCA, RIP, the best rap voice aside from Guru ever. It goes Guru.
Amazing rap voice,
Guru, that's how it goes.
Amazing rap voice.
That rap speed.
That voice. That voice was powerful.
Man, Prime is killing the takes, man.
That voice, that's true. He got one of the best voices, man. He got one of the best voices in hip hop. All right, we're in our top 3 now.
Top 3 for me.
This is gonna be different combinations.
This is gonna be different, but it's gonna be the same groups probably, but different.
Yeah, I got Wu-Tang. I got the Wu-Tang Clan at number 3. Again, you can if you want to tell me they're 2, I'm not gonna argue. If you're gonna tell me they're 1, I'm not gonna argue. People have different reasons for putting them 1, 2, or 3. The way they came together, 9 rappers. That's hard in itself. To come out, and they did things so different, wherein RZA was able to make them. They were 9. They were a group, but they were all 9 different entities. And my biggest and that was impressed. The biggest one in was how they was able to. They weren't really a commercial group, but they was able to go mainstream, and they were globalized. That Wu-Tang symbol is one of the most recognizable symbols in hip hop. It's history, if not the most recognizable symbol.
Might be number 1.
So that Wu-Tang symbol, you see that, what that's about. So
it's like the freaking bat signal.
Yeah, it's like the bat signal. You see Wu-Tang, you know what that's about. And I just think that they really took hip hop. Again, they was a culture shift, and they came back because their sound, hip hop was kind of viewing away from that rugged, gritty sound. And then boom, here they come back. Protect Your Neck is really just a beat, not really even mastered, and 9 rappers. And all of them nice, you know what I mean? So
it's like a cipher.
9 rappers almost pushing each other out the way to jump in.
Right. I got number 3.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Have number 3 on my list because for all of those reasons, the globally known. I thought it was very good for them. Just like they kind of took a page out of Dre and M's book by making a series based on their, like, because NWA made the movie, right? That basically that really brought a lot of the youth back, to know who they were. And I love the fact that Wu-Tang did that. The RZA, made that happen, so people, the youth, could really get a glimpse of what they were and how they started. And so that alone, and right now everyone is loving them again because of that series.
Still coming up,
right? So they remained relevant. They were able, like I said earlier, they're responsible for some of hip hop's best music. Whether you're counting the group Wu-Tang, or you're counting Method Man, or you're counting Raekwon, the Purple Tape, which is, and hip hop heads will argue that might be the greatest hip hop album.
Yeah, they sure do.
The
greatest tape.
Right. Only built for Cuban links. So they're responsible for some of the best hip hop music. So I'm putting them at 3. What about you, Brian?
I like that. I'm not at which I would at 3, but I got Public Enemy at 3. Public Enemy made it dope to be black. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's dope to be black regardless. But
but they reminded us how dope it was.
Exactly. Like, yo, it's dope to be black, and not just dope to be black because we supposed to be tough or we supposed to be cool or whatever. It's dope to be black because we like black is power. You feel me? Like, Public Enemy made me see black as not the bad color. You know what I mean? Like, not just speaking about people, just in general. Like, you see something like, oh, something's black, you're like, oh, that's bad. Like, nah, Public Enemy made me look at a whole color differently for that reason. Like, when they have to push something as crazy as NWA was, when they have to push something like that because you're doing so much good, you have so much influence over like young kids. Like, think about it, all day we hear people talk about Grand Theft Auto or something like shooting, guns, everything. The kids are too impressionable, but it's like they didn't need any of that to get to the kids. They spoke real conscious stuff. Listen, this is what you can do. You can fix your money. You can fix your life. You need to earn respect, and you keep that respect on. It's a whole different thing. Like, when you take music and it makes you start thinking political, and it makes you start thinking about how you treat other people. Music is supposed to instill a bunch of emotions in you, and to me, Public Enemy is the best at that because they'll take the angry black man and they'll say it and they'll speak from his perspective so well and articulate that the people being disrespected are like, this is great. I love this. I love like the fact that like you said before, the white people are in that bro, Fight the Power. The video is full of a bunch of white people in that video with the black people fighting alongside. They're talking crazy. They're like, nah, I don't give a damn. They have a point. If you could get a white person, like, yeah, you got a point. Come on.
And look at their concerts, man. Full of white.
It's like a political party rally. They're far above just what music is. You know what I mean? So that's why they're number 3 for me, and they could be 2 or 1.
Yeah.
Okay, so number 2.
2 is Public Enemy for me.
Public Enemy
for me, man.
Me too.
Again, I couldn't echo his words, Brian's words any better. And the funny thing is, you listen to what Prime said about him, and I pretty much feel the same way about him. And the age difference in us is like over 20 years.
Yeah, you got
that tells you enough right there. That if you have an age difference of over 20 years and you're basically still saying the same thing.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So again, they were powerful with the words of black men. They made you look. They were ahead of their time as well with the police brutality. They were putting that in their videos. They were able to have you pretty much simulate slavery, segregation, and with today's times as they were going along. So, and they let you know that you didn't need to remember. They wore medallions. They didn't have gold. They didn't wear gold. Like that was during the time where we was rocking Dookie. They pretty much made black people take gold off. Like when they were telling them about the Dookie ropes being representing the chains. Yep. There was a time where all black people took off their Dookie ropes and threw them out. And started rocking medallions. Yeah. You know what I mean? So shout out to Flavor Flav, Chuck D, and once another good point Prime brought up. He was the rapper that him along with KRS-One, when it was time to go to the Oprah Winfrey's and the Jenny Joneses and the talk shows and to represent rap, it was either Chuck D or KRS-One because they was able to speak intelligently, you know, to the masses. So I definitely have them at number 2, and I won't get mad at anybody that got them at number 1.
Yeah, same here. I got them at number 2. Like you just said, everything both of y'all mentioned, great points that y'all put out there. I definitely the medallions. I was part of that movement when we started doing the medallions. Everybody was. We even took away the 4-finger rings. We would put the medallion down so it slipped on your finger like a 4-finger ring. So we have it on our hands too and on our necks. Real Black Power stuff right there. And they were the only ones really talking to that political stuff, challenging political, challenging all of that stuff. They're the ones who set that bar. That's what we say. Saying Elvis was racist, saying John Wayne, everyone that America held up to a whole pedestal, held up high. Yeah, John Wayne. Everyone loved John Wayne. White America loved John Wayne.
They were I'm going to cut you off. They were the first ones talking about diversity in Hollywood too. They had a song called "Burn Hollywood Burn." They were talking about long before Jada Pinkett was talking about it. They were talking about diversity and black exploitation films, the respect of black exploitation films, and everything long before everybody.
So you gotta put respect on their name. As we all know, these are all interchangeable numbers. But they're number 2. And who you got at number 2?
Well, they were my number 3. Great. But my number 2 is y'all number 1. Run DMC.
Right.
If there was ever a group you could say, if they were one, I'd have no issue, it's Run DMC. Yeah. If they were one, I could speak to 1 million people. If you all said Run DMC, I'd be like, okay, that's cool. Yeah. I'm cool with that. If we're just going to go off impact alone, there's not even a comparison. They're the starter kit. That's exactly where you want. That is the base of what you want to be a legendary kind of, is somewhat what Run DMC has been.
Right.
You got Run and DMC, who admittedly the lyricism of the time isn't as crazy as it was, but they were 2 of the better lyricists of the time period.
Of that time.
So that's one. Jam Master Jay, we already spoke about. Forget about just as a DJ. He might be the most like alluring personality in hip hop. I don't think there's ever been a person I've ever seen like speak on him in hip hop that didn't say like, yo, he's one of the greatest ever.
Absolutely.
Best person I met. Walk This Way saved hip hop. Hip hop has a shelf life without a song like Walk This Way. It has a shelf life without Walk This Way, because the fact of the matter is this: we don't survive as long as we do if we don't get the white people on board. And the way that they made that so marketable, coming out with Walk This Way with Aerosmith, and when you first hear it in your head, you're like, what? Aerosmith and Run DMC got a song, and you listen to it, and it's like these dudes could have been rapping over rock beats the whole damn time. Like, it's like ridiculous. Like, super versatile. And then a Christmas song.
Christmas rap song.
Mariah Carey could never make another song aside from the one Christmas song she has, and she'll eat for the rest of her life. Run DMC is in that same boat. Like, obviously, it's not to the same extent, but Christmas in Hollis is a freaking popping ass.
That's a classic rap record.
Classic rap
You know what
record.
I'm saying? So it's like, come on, bro.
Mama cooked chicken and collard greens.
Exactly. It's
macaroni
tricky.
and cheese.
Freaking sucker MCs. I could go on forever. My Adidas, I can go on forever. The Adidas that they bought into it, the style, like they were the first hip hop, like they would dominate hip hop, but they were also like were looked at like role models. Like they were the first.
Had to be the first. Yeah,
they
had to be the first to get an endorsement. I don't think anyone else.
The first rap group that parents were like, oh yeah, they could date my daughter and things like that. Like they were like. And to do all those things and still to be considered by so many the top or one of the top like hip hop groups of all time, to me personally, I fought not putting them at one. I was gonna put them at one. I had them at one pretty much the entire time I was making my list. And last second, I was like, if I'm being real with myself, I moved them to 2. But to me, they could be 1, they could be 2. They can't be any lower than 3. The fact that Billboard had them anywhere outside of 3 is disgusting to me. and if we're throwing it out there, Run's House is a top 5 reality TV show of all time.
That's funny. Yeah. Well, okay. So as we wrap this up, we're down to our number ones, and we pretty much, if you've been listening to us, you can pretty much know who's number 1 on each list. Me and Hev are definitely in. We're definitely in agreement. And number 1 for you, Hev, is
Run DMC. They are definitely number 1 for me. Like Prime said, I don't mean to piggyback so much, but the fashion, they were like, kind of like those times. They were like fashion icons. They started the whole culture wearing no laces. They were the absolute reason why we took our laces out of our shoes. Like they were walking with no laces, shell top Adidas. People started buying shell top Adidas because of Run DMC. Lee jeans.
Yeah, Lee.
Everybody bought Lee jeans because of Run DMC. I mean, with the crease. The Lee jeans, the colored Lee. Remember, Lee jeans used to be blue jeans. They brought out. Everybody started getting colored Lee jeans, black, red. We started looking for the colored jeans because of Run DMC. The DMC made the Gazelles. Everybody wanted Gazelles. DMC at one point was the only one rocking Gazelles. Everybody started looking for Gazelles after Run DMC. And again, the big point is I love that take about Walk This Way, saving hip hop, because at that point, that's when white America was trying to end hip hop.
Yep.
They wanted to get hip hop out of there, and then for them to see one of the more popular white groups, Aerosmith, do a collaboration with Run DMC, that made them stop. Like,
force their hand.
Wow, they're doing. Aerosmith is doing a collaboration with Run DMC, and that forced people to listen. It was on MTV. They were actually the first rap group, I believe, on MTV as well.
Yeah, they were.
With Rockbox and King of Rock and Walk This Way. So I think Sucker MC might be the most popular, the most important rap record ever. And my brother always laughs when I say that. I said, because if Sucker MC never came out, we'd still be rapping the bomb, the bomb, the bomb,
with the bang, the bang, bang, with the bomb, yeah.
We'd still all be rapping that way if Sucker MC never came out.
I went to that store and I bought myself a hat.
One of the most important records ever in the history of rap, and they're my number 1 for me. Again, 1, 2. I'll look at you side eye if they're 3, but I'll accept 3. But they're my 1.
Yeah. I'm gonna make mine quick. I'm pretty much the same thing. They're my number 1. We talked about fashion. We talked about that. We talked about JMJ and his influence. We talked about their influence. Yeah, one of the and I have to. One thing I want to point out, just them as probably the tightest group. Like, them two, when they were on stage, man, it was flawless, going back and forth, knowing each other's rhymes, going back and forth. It was just really, it's always, and they didn't do nothing special. They didn't dance, they didn't jump around, but they command the stage.
Yeah.
When DJ Run is my name. Yeah, when come on, bro. That dude commanded it. When he said it right there. And that's where the name Run's House came from. We had a whole lot of people on this stage tonight. But I'm going to tell you one thing. This is my mother effing house. And you believed it. And I tell you, DJ Run, and it's funny how he always referred to himself as DJ Run, not MC Run. He always referred to himself as DJ Run, because when oh my God, his command of the stage was
charisma. He was a charisma, man.
Impeccable. So I definitely agree with both of what y'all said. And now let's hear why Wu-Tang is number one for pride.
Yes, this is the one good thing I get to wax poetically about. To me, not just the greatest rap group of all time, not the greatest hip hop group of all time, the greatest hip hop act of all time. And I'm gonna tell you why. We talk about classic albums. Well, this one got 7 classic albums, because the criteria we use for everybody else, we don't even get to use that with Wu-Tang, because all of their solo albums are Wu-Tang albums at the beginning. 36 Chambers, classic album. Forever, classic album, right? Now let's move on to the solos. Purple Tape, we ain't gotta even say it. Iron Man, classic album. 36 Chambers, the dirty version, classic album. Liquid Swords, one of the most underrated albums ever.
Yeah.
Cacao, not on the level of the other ones, still a classic album in my opinion. Classic songs, they got them. That's not even a combo. Cream is in everybody's hip hop playlist. Cream, Protect Your Neck. Triumph.
Yeah.
Couple fun facts for you guys. I did. This isn't even research I did. This is just literally facts I've gotten throughout life of loving hip hop, of loving Wu-Tang. Not only is Triumph the first $1 million hip hop music video ever, it's the only song to go platinum without any repeated phrases or hooks or words. The only word repeated is Wu-Tang.
That's a great thing.
When you're dealing with humans, where humans love, we love things to be rhythm. Yeah, we love with the rhyme. We love things to be to a beat. So calls and response. We love that. So to tell me that there's not one repeatable word or line in the entire song, and it goes platinum and better, come on, bro. Come on. You've got probably, in my opinion, a top 3 producer of all time. You've got some of probably the scariest group of overall spitters ever. I love Bone. These spitters would have walked Bone up and down the block. Shoot, like it goes on and on. Even when we speak about them being global's not even the right word. I feel like if you went to Mars, there's a Martian right now with a Wu-Tang shirt on right now that's quoting lyrics from the Purple Tape. Like they were all street dudes, and they all were versatile to be on any song. Meth with just them taking. Hey, send one of our oh, you need meth? Cool, yeah. Send meth over for that Mary song. Cool. Oh, you need Ray and Ghost? Oh yeah, send them over to who they made the song. Total was they were every SWV. They were everywhere, untouchable. Method Man. They gave us Method Man. Method Man is so important in hip hop. Like, he bridges all these things together that we talked about, weed, media, rapping, and just being a rapper. He bridges all those things together. Wu-Tang Clan, to me,
ain't nothing to fuck with.
The greatest rap group of all time, hip hop group, whatever you want to call them. In my opinion, the greatest hip hop entity ever. They transcend words. I'm glad they got the show because it introduced people to it. But I'll tell everybody out there, if you just watch the show, you're like, oh, these guys are dope. Do yourself a favor. Do your own research, bro, because they're even crazier when you go deeper into it. The biggest character probably in hip hop ever with ODB.
Yeah.
And to bring it all together and to squeeze, because 9 rappers, 10 when you add in Capadonna.
Yeah.
10 rappers, and you can get 2 legitimately classic albums out of it, and then you can come back 20 years later and sell an album no one's heard for millions of dollars. Yeah, okay. I'm giving Wu-Tang.
That's true. That's a good point. You got that album, that one album that one guy owned, right?
Yep.
Or bought on the auction. It was like an unreleased album, right?
2 million or something like that for an unreleased album no one's ever heard. No one's ever. It could be a bunch of farts. But it's sold for 2 million. So how are you gonna take that from them? Right. Yeah, that's my number 1. Wu-Tang.
Well, there you have it. Great takes from everybody. I think everyone who's listening, watching this, comment down. Put your top 10 in the comments. Let's see what you guys got.
Give us what you agree with, who you disagree with.
Let me see those top 10s, and let me know why Wu-Tang's number 1.
Yeah, put your top 10s in. So this was great. Shout out to Billboard for even bringing up the conversation. It's all good. A lot of people don't agree with it, but a lot of honorable mentions that were left out. We mentioned third base. We mentioned it was a lot of people, but put in the comments what y'all think is your top 10, and definitely make sure you subscribe to the channel, like and share this with your friends. And that's it, man. It's the Clark brothers.
Make your own list. Send them out.
Make that list. Put them out there,
bro. Keep the hip hop conversation.
We'll be interactive and comment on there as well and see what you guys think. That's what's up, man. It's the Clark brothers. Is another edition of the Breakdown coming at y'all. Peace out, everybody.